This is IQ Domino coming back at y'all with another motherfucker bang of a video. Now today we're gonna be going over Myron debates. Muhammad Hijab claims his 50 body count rule is destructive. This should be interesting.
Okay. Let's move on to the next thing, brother. We can think about this in our own time. Religion. I wanted to speak about more your stuff, guys, because I know you guys do intersexual dynamics. Let me ask you a question, guys. I want to get to it, which is, what do you decide is a high value man? I want Myron on this one as well, because we spoke about religion. I let people decide what they think is right, but you guys are, let's say, you're specialists now. This is your area. I want to pick your brains a little bit, because I think you don't know, your impact is actually quite a significant impact, and I think that you actually made some very interesting contributions. Especially what now they call it the men's rights movement, or men's activism and so on. And I think some of your contributions, frankly, are good. I've heard some of them. I watched on YouTube. I wanted to start with this question: what do you guys think is a high value man? How do you define it?
You want to go first? Go ahead.
You good?
No, you go ahead, man.
Nah, I don't want to continue real quick. I gotta.
Okay.
I want to go further in religion, but it's fine. Go ahead.
No, I mean y'all can if you guys want. After
let's change topic.
So, I mean, this is a subjective thing, right? For everyone, it's going to be different. So I don't really think there's a truly wrong or right answer. But what I will say is that it's going to probably err on the side of obviously a higher earner than average, someone who has respect from other individuals, has a network of people that are also on his level as far as status, whether it's financial, social, etc. And he's somebody that other people want to essentially be like. I mean, to put it bluntly, is the guy that other women want to be with and other men want to be, if I'm going to put it very simply.
What about you, Fresh? What do you say about this?
So the term high value, the word itself, I get it. It's been used around.
Yeah, we hate using that term. We never use it. We actually never use that term.
Yeah,
ever. I hate it.
But it means something in the world today, so we use it sparingly. But I would say high value man.
I mean, like the main motherfuckers that use that shit though. Like I learned that shit. I heard that shit first from these niggas. Like high value, like man, I've heard that from these niggas. Like that's like one of their main topics of discussion. Probably not. I ain't listened to them in a long time. Like sit right there and listen to their podcast in a long time. But like they definitely was the first motherfuckers I heard really put that shit out there.
Intrigued by it.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing what you're saying out the window.
Yeah.
Fresh, were you gonna say something?
No. I was gonna just define high value for me.
Go ahead, please. Yeah.
So it just means a man that has worked on himself. He's successful in his own right. Has a network of people around him that care about him and respect him, and at the same time has value to the marketplace. For example, maybe it could be singing, it could be, for example, his business, it could be, for example, his skill set to the public. Whatever that may be, makes him high value in the eyes of other people as a whole. That's what I would say.
Would you say that, and this is a question to both of you, is this an intrinsic classification or is it extrinsic? In the sense that if it's intrinsic, then, for example, like a block of gold, it has intrinsic value.
All right, number one, I'm gonna say this. In my personal opinion, it can be an overall perspective of how you view the world at the end of the day, which is true. But in real life game, all right, it's somewhat what they said, but just to really clarify and how I perceive it, what they see as a high value man is somebody with status and money, basically. That's how they see it, right? But how I see it, it's somebody who really can essentially has access to get what they want out of life, right? If you are a person who has a hobby, right? If you're a person that aims to be elite at the hobby and you are at like the top tier of that hobby, you are considered a high value man. I mean, in my eyes, if you're a motherfucker who can conversate and connect with people by being yourself, not faking it, not pretending it, by being yourself, you are a high value man. If you are a person that can connect with women, you know what I'm saying, and actually have connection with women, have connection with people, where you are being yourself, you are truly a high value man. Now, of course, in society, you can fake it till you make it, right? And this is where the disconnect really happens, because they got something called tricking. They got something called faking it till you make it. They got something called, being a liar, right? You can lie your way to success. You ever sit right down and you watch Mr. Organic, he talk about how he literally lies to success. How he has lied or has, you know, put off an image that which has led to him being successful. Right? Now, in the reality of this shit, man, if you really good, if you have something that you're good at, one, if you know how to connect with people, two, and if you have your own, you know what I'm saying, kingdom, you got your own place, you can do all of that shit and be perceived as highly valuable in everybody's eyes that's around you. Versus you can be a guy with a lot of money, with a lot of status, and be undervalued by everybody in your immediate life. You see what I'm saying? If you are like for instance, for a prime example, they little date. I'm always using this example because it's the only times they actually sat down to talk to women. If you look at their date, this goofy motherfucker right here, he's a friendly motherfucker. I'm not saying that he ain't an intelligent individual motherfucker who know how to get the money, who know how to work the internet, and really know how to, like, you know, be very influential when it comes down to social media and things like that. Can't take that away from him. But when it comes down to women, you can tell how he is a person who simply gets used for his resources. For the resources. That's it. For his resources. That can be in plenty of things. Knowledge, material things and shit, you know. Probably access to get you more status. You know, he has that. But the thing about him is that he can't really get a true connection, you know, at least while on a dating. I'm just using him for example. I don't really know him, but off of what I've seen on the internet, he's the type of motherfucker that can talk to a lot of people, but never get past that hey bro, you really my nigga type relationship. He don't get to those, you know, hey you, and not just you really my nigga, but the actions that come behind the you really my nigga type vibe. Whereas like for instance, everybody I talk to always tells me that I have the most intellectual conversations. Every woman that I talk to usually says that they can be themselves around me. They never felt like they can be submissive around me. If y'all watch my content, y'all know that I usually go for women that are very dominant. I like to make dominant women submissive. So if this is the whole thing of how my life and how I look at it, you got to understand how I'm, you know, when it comes down to him, he's a friendly guy. A dominant woman is going to always take advantage of him. He's not going to, even though he has a lot of value, but they're going to more say take from him more than he's, you know, that he gets from them. You know, so it's honestly a balance of being able to get and being able to receive. Right? And give. It's not just I have a lot to give and that's why I'm high value. No, you got to be able to motherfucker who can really take some shit too. If you can't take nothing, then you honestly not really that valuable because you can't really take anything from anybody. You have to be valuable in my eyes. You got to be able to take some shit. Like if, for example, if you are a motherfucker who really good at a hobby and in your hobby you are elite at the hobby, but you trying to be the elitist. For you to take that elitist spot, you have to be extremely fucking valuable to take that from somebody who's above you. You have to be really that good. So in a competitive atmosphere, what I'm saying is, when it comes down to other people around you, how good are you at still being the top dog with the same playing field? When she was on a date with him, she said, I like great men. Right? And everybody was like, oh, she likes street niggas. Yes. Because to be in the street, you have to know how to deal with people. You have to know how to handle people. You have to know how to handle your surroundings. Right? That's honestly why everybody who is street smart always going to come off like they're a little bit aggressive, because that's really how you handle shit. Right? For instance, Myron has a motherfucker who has money, has the network, has the connections. But no one, if you ever listen to people actually talk about Myron, they're not really talking about Myron. They're just talking about all the things that are around Myron. Same thing with him. He doesn't really talk about, you know, he may even express experiences, but you don't really have a real, you know, when you listen to Myron, you don't really think, oh man, I really can connect with this guy, because he's always coming from a preaching standpoint. You know, it's not really a him, my experiences, my things that I'm going through. No, it's just literally just his perception. That's it. That's all he talks about. And you don't even know if it's really his perception, because he has no real examples. So there's no real way to connect with him. You see what I'm saying? So if you know how to make you connect with everything around you, and to get what you want, and to take what you want, and get what you want out of life, you don't necessarily even you don't even necessarily have to work as hard as somebody who really puts their all and puts all their time and all their energy and all their efforts and all their focus to acquire something, because you understand that it doesn't really take that much energy. It just takes a bit of understanding. You know, it takes a bit of, you know, learning from somebody. It takes a bit of listening to somebody. Now, I'm not saying these guys don't have value, but I'm saying for me to perceive as a high value, a truly high value person, as somebody who really can have access to everything around him. That's, most guys ain't that. Most guys that got money ain't even that. You know what I'm saying? I always look at it for a best example. If you ever a guy who watched Suits, look at Harvey Specter and look at the little hamster looking motherfucker, Lit. Lewis, I think his name Lewis Lit. Look at Lewis Lit, and then look at Harvey. Everybody in the whole community knows both of them. They know both of them. Well, more people know Harvey than they do him. But they know Harvey from Harvey being Harvey. They know Lewis Lit from his wins. You know what I'm saying? From literally his wins. But they know Harvey from like, oh yeah, he wins, he does this, he's a flashy guy. They know Harvey. They heard about Harvey Specter, who he really is. His name has a whole lot more force behind it than Lewis Lit, even though they're in the same office, even though they're in the same position in the office. Harvey is going to have a lot more weight behind it, because it has a real attachment. It's real. It has a real connection to you, right? Another example. If you ever look at politically, I'm just gonna be honest, man. I only reason why I relate to. I gotta think about a good one, a really good one. It's just a different one. My whole point is that it's different when you really can just stand on your own 2 feet and get what you want. Versus, of course, you're gonna have to work your ass off regardless to get things that are really valuable. But when you are actually, truly a great person, you know how to really move to get access to everything. I really don't know how to explain this to y'all, because it's more to it than what I'm saying. But the overall point is there's a difference between somebody who's great. A person that's great can be poor. A person that's great can be middle class. A person that's great can be rich. A person that's great can have a bare minimum network. A person that's great can have a great network. But the thing that makes them great is that they know how to get full access to what is around them. And they can consistently do it. Not sometimes, they can consistently do it. Motherfuckers like this. You know what? One of the guys that I used to watch, not too much now, but I used to watch, is Prime Time Hitler. Look at how he moves versus how these guys move. They probably have more money than Prime Time Hitler. Probably. I don't know. I don't know their pockets. But they got connections in Dubai and all kind of shit. So they definitely have a bigger network, if not anything, than Primetime Hitler. Or a more expensive network than Primetime Hitler. But if you look at the way that Primetime Hitler moves, he has more access to the people and the things that are around him than they do. If they get access for the benefit that they get from it. These motherfuckers literally just want to be around Primetime Hitler. Literally. Right? It's a different kind of thing. And these are guys, and I'm not just talking about fanboy guys. I'm talking about guys who actually have something to bring to the table. And they still have actual relationships where they still have actual access to women. They still have access to money, have access to wherever they really want. That is a high value man. Every man can't do that. They can't. Every man can be rich, fellas. Every man can be rich, but not every man can really be highly valued by everybody around them. I'm trying to give y'all the game. Motherfucker can have a diamond watch on. Motherfuckers looking like, man, he got a diamond watch. He got money. Motherfucker have nothing on, and billionaires look at the motherfucker like he the best thing. A dude can be a billionaire. Millionaires can look at this guy like he's the best thing since sliced bread with a fucking hoodie on. From simply talking to him. Now, of course, it depends on the perspective. Some people love money than they do actual, love itself. So it's all about your perspective.
But let's say, for example, that let's say a TikToker, yeah, doing some kind of a video dancing or something like that. You couldn't say that has intrinsic value, but its value is dictated by the marketplace. So is your classification of a high value man, is it more intrinsic or extrinsic in that sense?
So I would say it's up to the individual because I made a song, High Value Man, funny song by the way. But the term itself, high value, was used as a precursor for wearing watches and chains and having success, cars and girls. But that was my opinion at the time of what high value was. But as you evolve, you become more placed on different aspects of life. And maybe for you, maybe just a TikToker dancing on the internet with a lot of views. So I think it's just up to the person or individual what they decide for that to be.
I mean, it's a combination.
See, I've got a take on this, guys. I don't know what you guys think of this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
No, go ahead.
We got you.
Yeah. Sorry. So I was gonna say, look, I get what you guys are saying, especially when you speak about men and women. Yeah. But here's my take on this. I think there's a kernel of truth in what you guys are saying, but I think it's mostly in the economic marketplace. So, for example, here's what I would say: when you guys use the term high value, you're usually using it in terms of what women would be attracted to, i.e., vis-a-vis something like hypergamy. And there's ample evidence.
Which is simping, by the way. If you get everything you want if you're doing everything that you want to get women, you a simp.
There's a Queen study, which I think is the most authoritative, that hypergamy is true. Like, in the sense that if a woman is given a choice between a man with ceteris paribus, everything else remaining the same, a man who's a higher earner versus a lower earner, she's always going to go for the higher earner, in fact. And that's the truth. Likewise, a lot of the stuff about what you say about women who have less experience in what you call a body count or something like that.
I'm going to go ahead and cut them off right there. That shit is not fucking true. It's not true. It's not true. You can hear it in movies. You can hear it on the news. You can hear it from comedians. You're going to hear it from TV shows. You're going to hear it in porn. You're going to hear it in everything. Where there's guys who do not have shit. And their wives leave them for a guy with less things. Like this. Listen, on a grand scale, and I'm not even going to ignore this. On a grand scale, yes. On a grand scale, yes. Motherfuckers with more money are going to attract more women. Because women are attracted to material things. But the reason why these motherfuckers can't keep these women is because they don't have real substance. They don't know how to break a woman down. They don't know how to, no disrespect to any ladies that's listening, but they do not know how to teach women how to be better women. They don't know how to tell women to play their role. They don't know how to express themselves. They have no real fucking substance. So when you watching these motherfuckers and you looking at these motherfuckers, really pay attention to, okay, how much of this can just really be duplicated? Like, alright, listen, all this shit that I'm breaking down, right? You can duplicate it, you can say exactly what I'm saying, but you can miss the overall point of what I'm saying through and throughout the whole fucking video. And no one can compose this shit every fucking 2 minutes and give you a full breakdown of why something is wrong. Because it comes from somewhere from my personal fucking experiences. Right? I have dealt with women that are lawyers, that are doctors, that are have their own businesses, and they fuck with me when I didn't have shit. I didn't have shit, and they were still fucking with me. The difference was, it still is, because I'm gonna lie, I always got more niggas with more money than me. So the difference is that I know how to connect with them. The reason why job interviewers love to hire motherfuckers, or should I say businesses love to promote motherfuckers with with who just come on the scene, they make a little bit of moves, they make a little bit of noise, versus the guy who's been working every day for the past 10 years, and the new guy get the promotion, and the guy who's been working there don't get the promotion, is because he does not have real game. He don't have no real game. It's not real. It can be duplicated. You can be duplicated. The experience can't be taken away from you. Don't get it fucked up. But so you're valuable, but you can't really. You can only give. You see what I'm saying? You can only give. If you want to be in a motherfucker who in a high position, you have to be able to take some shit. You have to be able to take it. If you like a person that's a leader, he goes around, he navigates through the world, navigates through society as a leader. He has his own following, he has his own team. You have to be able to take opportunities or make opportunities. When you have no game, it's hard to believe that you can do that if you don't know how to express it. Not saying that they ain't valuable, but the whole point is that y'all, if you ain't getting it now, I'll explain this shit.
It's true that's probably in the market, sexual market value is probably going to be less ceteris paribus, everything else remaining the same. Mm-hmm. However, here's the thing that I would think that is important to make a distinguish between. This is why I asked you the question about like intrinsic versus extrinsic, because in this very strict parameter of how the other or the opposite gender sees that person for marriage or long-term committal relationship or even casual relationship,
shouldn't be for money.
That this whole high-value man has weight. This term has weight. But if we're talking about intrinsically, as like, for example, remember I gave you the example of the block of gold versus the TikTok video. Intrinsically, a high-value man has always classically meant, usually in ethics, for example, all the way up to Christian morality and Islamic morality and Jewish morality, most of the world's cultures, a high-value man or a high-value woman has always been like a virtuous man or a virtuous woman. So virtue dictates the value of someone on an intrinsic level. Virtue. So what is virtue? Like in the past, even before Christ, you had a person called Aristotle, who died 323 BCE. He wrote a book called Nicomachean Ethics. And he had something called virtue ethics, which basically like he mentioned some of the key virtues for human beings. The most important one for a man that makes him high value, opposite to a woman, and this is what I'm putting forward, in that paradigm, and also in the paradigm of Islam and Christianity, I would argue, and Judaism, is bravery. I'll put it this way. If you had the most rich man in the world, but he was a coward, he'd not be a high-value man. It would be a disqualifier.
Written communication plays a huge part in every aspect of our working life. Grammarly is a tool.
And I agree. Because you really got to be able to take some shit. Like, you got to be able to take something and create something. If you cannot take something or you cannot create something, you are not fucking valuable. Like, if let's say you look at this shit like a job. You look at this shit out here like a job. You basically essentially working a job, bro. You know what you got to do and you're doing it. Versus you saying, okay, I'm doing this job, now I'm about to outsource here, and I'm about to go over into this business meeting, I'm just going to shit on, I'm about to go ahead, I'm about to just do my thing and take over this whole thing. And everybody going to know my name, everybody in this room going to know my fucking name before I leave out of here. Now, you got that kind of mindset now, they going to know your name, what they know you for. But if you a motherfucker who literally just came in there, and you have no fucking substance, and you just made a bunch of noise, you gonna be remembered as a goofy motherfucker, or a motherfucker that's basically that come off like a bitch. You have no substance, bro. You have no real. Nothing about you is really worth grasping, bro. Nothing is worth having outside of what you have. And it come it come universally. Whether it come from you having experience, you having certain skills, you having certain amount of money, you having it is universal. But at the end of the day, if you are a motherfucker who can rely on yourself to get what you want out of life, out of everything, you're a different kind of motherfucker. Because you gotta be. You have to be. Because only way you can get shit from out of being yourself and relying on only yourself, you have to be a fucking somewhat of a monster. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you gotta be a monster. Like, you gotta be able to look at something and like I remember like a girl told me like you talking like you Apex or something, like you a fucking like you talking about stalking a prey, or like a predator. I don't remember what the conversation was, but I was like, you know what, it's almost like I understand if you was to call me the Apex or whatever. I understand what you're saying. And man, even my homeboy, we was talking about how we going in, we hunting shit down. We are hunters. We hunt shit down. We talk about that, right? My uncle, he talk about how you gotta grab the opportunities by the neck and pull it up the tree, and that's your food for the night. That's how you supposed to take every opportunity, every situation. You're supposed to look at every situation, every problem. You're supposed to solve it that way. It's supposed to always be presented to you in that way, as in you can just take it and basically feed yourself from it. You have to have a somewhat of that kind of mindset when it comes down to everything around you. You gotta have somewhat of a primal kind of mindset when it comes down to that. Most guys ain't got that, bro. Just look around, bro. Most guys don't have that kind of mindset. They don't have it in them. So because they don't have it in them, you can only look at certain people when it comes down to having that mindset. Not saying they don't have value. That's not what I'm saying. It's a different kind of value, though. It's a value where you put them in a room, they gonna figure out how to survive. You put a motherfucker that I'm talking about in a room, he gonna take they shit and then survive still, and then he gonna take they shit too. It's a different kind of mindset. They ain't got that many guys like that. They not like that. So if they not like that, you gotta really look at it for what it is. He's not a fucking high value person. Now, in my eyes, a virtuous woman, talking about a person with a high morals and shit like that. That goes into it too, because you have to have principles. You have to live by a certain standard, certain codes for you to get shit out of life. But at the end of the day, you gotta live by it, and to live by those principles, by those rules, you have to be, like he said, brave, disciplined. You gotta really. And you gotta be somewhat fucking ruthless, because sometimes you ain't gonna feel like doing it, and motherfuckers around you, we talking about just a person. You ain't gonna feel like doing it, or you ain't gonna feel like following that rule, or you gonna, it's gonna be like, damn, I really gotta follow this rule. You gonna be a little, anxious, but because you gotta follow that rule. Different emotions gonna come from that. That's why niggas become ruthless, because when you know how to handle your own fucking emotions, and you follow your principles, no matter how you feel, you become ruthless, bro. You'll stop giving a fuck. You stop giving a fuck about a lot of shit. That all goes into the mind process. This motherfucker care about what people think. This motherfucker is a friendly man who can be with a woman and just talk to her on some friendly shit, and that's it. Just helping her out nonstop. What in that is beneficial to him outside of emotionally? You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm getting at, man. You ain't gotta be a motherfucker that's rich, famous. You ain't gotta be a motherfucker that's a fucking goofball. If you not, you just be yourself and go for what you want. And you gonna now you gonna fuck up a lot, but that's a part of it. That's really a part of it. Like it's non-stop failure, bro. It's non-stop. But most motherfuckers don't really have that non-stop failure. Even though I fall, even though I fuck up, still keep going in them. They ain't got that dog, bro.
On an intrinsic level, yes, he might be sought after it might be sought after in terms of like women might still want to be with him, but they don't really want to be with him because of what he is or who he is. They want to be with him because of what he can offer. In other words, they want to be with his money, really. They want to have access to his money. So they're using him, utility value. Yeah, they're using him for his money because they're trying to access funds. That's what they're trying to do. He's basically an ATM machine. And so what I wanted to distinguish between is a high value man on an intrinsic level who exhibits things like temperance, magnanimity, forgiveness, mercy, kindness, but most and chief most among which is bravery, because a man needs bravery more than a woman to provide and protect.
So yeah. I would agree with that. But my thing is that's why I was because you only spoke about it from the female lens, like how women deem.
Nigga, he said your lens. He said your lens. You see this? You know, people who are deceptive, they know how to like. That's why you gotta really be focused. You gotta really be paying attention to people. Cause motherfuckers, y'all be defending niggas like this, bro. Y'all be defending niggas that be so quick that they got the quickest fucking lie, bro. You see, like. He said, how do you view it? He said, you go first. You go first. No, you tell it. Well, you know, everybody's perspective is different, but this is that's what he said. That's what they both said. These niggas, they clowns, bro.
Like women deeming the guy high value. But what I'm saying is that you garner the respect of other men, and a coward does not garner the respect of other men. That's why it's very important. Like when I look at this term, not to just look at it from the lens of what females are attracted to, rather what do other men respect? And obviously cowardice is never respected. So yeah, if someone's a coward, then they automatically are disqualified because other men don't respect them. They can have all the money in the world, but they're a coward. So I see a perspective with virtue, but I'm saying, like, you know, it's pretty much already implied that you're a virtuous man and that you're not a coward when other men respect you, because men, we tend to value other men.
Cancel that shit. Cancel that. Cancel it. Cancel it. Let me tell you exactly why this shit is canceled. And I'm in the military. Now, everybody in the military, I got out of the military, you know, congratulations to me. Goddamn. But think about this shit, man. A captain. Everybody know captain is supposed to be the most respected person that you've ever known. It's a respectful position, right? People who don't know him are going to respect him because he's a captain. People going to respect you when you drive a Benz because the first impression that you make, they going to automatically respect you. But when they get to know you, it's a different thing. That's why you can't go off the majority. Because majority of niggas is bitches. Majority of people is followers. So you can't really say, oh, well, I got majority respect of men, so that's like, no. You got a lot of motherfuckers who respect you just because you got money. Just because you have status, they will respect you just off that. They have the utmost respect for you just off that. Just off that. Just off that alone. Most men are like that. So what is he talking about?
Men based on their meritocracy, and that meritocracy is, you know, encapsulated in a bunch of...
Man, they got dudes who get respected just because they with a girl who fine. This is why, man.
Different traits. Are you honest? Are you a man of your word? Are you trustworthy? Can I trust you to get something done and get it done when you say you're going to get it done? Are you not? Are you willing to stand up for not just yourself but for other people that you love and care about? So cowardice has never been respected. So I would say that the virtue that argument that you're making, which I agree with actually, falls into the other men respecting you, because that's what men respect is meritocracy.
Well, I see what you're saying, but here's the thing. So this is an interesting parameter, but it's also an economic one. So for example, I agree with what you said. I think like other men would respect another man with a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
They would never respect a man who's a coward, even if he has a lot of money.
Yeah.
So here's the point. I think that a lot of the red pill stuff, like that, we get in.
How would they know if they don't know what respect is themselves? How would they know? See what I'm saying? How would they know? If they don't know what respect is themselves, how do they know that this person can be disrespected? This person is a bitch. This person is, well, I mean, let me chill out. This person doesn't deserve my respect. This person is weak. this person is dumb. This person is manipulative. This person is a liar. This person is a backstabber. Now, of course, you can treat them all with respect. I'm not saying that. But how would you be able to recognize those characters if you don't know yourself? Because it's all in you. You have a weak side. You have a pussy side. You have all that shit is in you. I don't give a fuck who you are. It comes out in one way or another because you're a human being. It's all in you. How do you now? Of course, we got principles to basically live by. So, we know when it is the case. But at the end of the day, how would you be able to recognize it in other people if you can't recognize it in yourself? You see what I'm saying? Man, let that
involved in and stuff.
If it go over your head,
so the discussions that we have, we overemphasize how much money we have to make in order to satisfy or to attract other women, and we underemphasize the virtue aspect of it.
Welcome to Flatiron School. This is where you learn how the future works. Where the whole point of
when you are virtuous, the money don't really matter that much no more.
And I'm not saying that the money aspect of it is not important. I'm pretty sure that the money aspect of it is important, especially depending on how generous the man.
Not saying you ain't got to be able to take care of your family, your kids. That's me personally. That's my. You gotta be able to do that. You gotta be able to take care of your family, yourself, your kids. You can't be a leech in society. You gotta be a man. But it's not as important as these motherfuckers make it. These motherfuckers got niggas not even shooting a shot because they think they ain't good enough. That's what I got a problem with. Like, you'd be surprised how many niggas be like, man, she got money, bro. I ain't trying to. Man, look how fine she is, bro. Yeah, she fine, but I don't know if I should, man. I don't know. She might not fuck with me. There's so many niggas who disqualify themselves because they stay thinking about what y'all saying.
And it's because if the man is not generous, and which is one of the virtues, having a lot of money is not a problem. It doesn't matter. Even the woman, if she finds him to be stingy and wealthy, that combination will never work out because she knows what he's trying to do. So I feel like maybe, I don't know, moving forward with like Fresh and Fit and stuff, if we focus on the virtue aspect of things a little bit more, because I feel like the society is moving on to a degenerate state, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. And that is fueled by hedonism and capitalism, and also this idea that now Mammoth is the new god, which is the god of money. The god of money is the new god. People are now chasing money and hedonism and frivolous pursuits. They think that, for example, Rollo Tomasi wrote a book called The Rational Male, right? Mm-hmm. You've had him on your show before. I've read the entire book cover to cover. And he mentions in his book that, you need to sleep with 50 women or whatever it may be in order to achieve certain level so you can really have the experience, to be with women. I think I've seen you, Fresh, mention something like that before because I watched a video before with you guys in Sneaker having a discussion.
Yeah, we've Fresh calls it spinning, not Fresh, excuse me. Rollo calls it spinning plates or plate theory. Yeah.
He's 50.
I call it getting experience, right, and being able to understand how the sexual marketplace works. But yeah, I mean, sorry, you were saying?
But on this point, bro, here's what I would say.
Yeah.
There is no evidence that having sex with a lot of women translates into an ability to understand women in the context of a committed relationship.
That's what I was waiting. I was going to say that. That's why I was going to say that.
Or longevous relationship. There is no evidence of that.
I was going to say that too.
This is where the red pill makes a lot of claims, assertions, but they're not backed, because the idea is, I feel like there's just ad hoc justifications and rationalization for hedonism, which is effectively just doing whatever you want, whatever you desire. But really, like, let us assess this claim, the claim that if you have sex with a lot of women, that's going to lead to you knowing women more and therefore having a stronger relationship, more longevous relationship with some kind of woman. But it doesn't seem to me that there's any evidence to that effect, because I was looking at some studies on casual sex. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
And I was looking at, there's like 5 or 6 of them that have been done. And all of those studies, first of all, they're mixed. They're contradictory, funny enough. Some of them say that, they harm women. Actually, most of them say they harm women. Casual sex harm women. That is a consensus psychological finding.
It harms men too. A lot of these studies, but it doesn't harm it.
Some of them say.
Listen, me personally, I believe the more you understand women, all right, number one, be honest. Number one is more harmful to women long term. All right, it's more harmful to women long term. Long term, because if you're a woman who sit down and you really try to have casual sex all the time, I'm gonna say, yeah, I don't know, and I enjoy casual sex, but I do believe if I had a daughter and she was having casual sex and she like 25, she's still having casual sex. Honestly, if a woman 23, 22, I'm just being honest from like if I had a sister type perspective, that shit'll do more harm to her than they do good, because that's her most likely chance to finding all the good niggas, like 22, 23, and like living through her like her late 20s to 30s with somebody. It's like that 22, 23 point. Like that's the time when you really need to cut that shit out. In my personal experience, if I had like a sister or something, I tell her to cut that shit out when she hit 22, 20. When she hit 21, I tell her she need to start trying to find somebody for real. But for guys, I think that the more you understand women, the more likely it is for you to actually, have a long relationship or get more women. Because when you understand women, you realize what you actually need to be doing, what you need to be focusing on, the actual things that matter and what don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because women don't know what matter, what don't matter half the time. You know what I'm saying? They'll combat you on some shit that don't matter. They'll argue with some shit that don't matter. If you the type of motherfucker that I don't argue with women for real. I debate with them, but I'm not finna argue. So, if you are the type of motherfucker that do all that, you know what I'm saying? You honestly don't understand women well enough to actually get them, one, and two, to be in a relationship with them. Because you can lie your ass off and get in some draws. You can lie your ass off and you in that motherfucker. You can lie. You can friendly your way in it and wait on a bad day. But if you understand women, you understand that being friendly to a woman is like, there are thousands of women, millions of women. And it's honestly a waste of fucking time. It's a game of chance regardless. If she fuck with you, she gonna fuck with you. If she not, she not. It's a game of chance regardless. You be a motherfucker who lie, but honestly, bro, you kind of fucking over yourself, because you sacrificing yourself to get women, which means that you basically fucking over yourself to even get a chance to understand them for real. You know what I'm saying? So being virtuous definitely is a big indicator of, in my eyes, a high value man, because you are like a motherfucker who actually is. You are you type of motherfucker who actually gonna go down the correct path more times than not. Are you deceptive? You lie. It's hard for you to even see the full picture. You're not gonna see the full picture. You're not gonna understand shit. Not really. Not to the core of it. If you're a friendly motherfucker, you are dancing on the surface. Both of them surface level things, but they both bad, honestly. But if you're a virtuous guy, you can always get past all that shit. So I think understanding women from a guy's perspective is more important than having what a woman think that you should have. Because women will not care. If you really that guy, she not gonna care. If she look at you like you really that guy, she not gonna care. She not gonna care. Trust me. They don't give a fuck when they think you really that guy. If you really connect with her, she not gonna care. If you really turn her on, you know how to make her mad, you know how to make her laugh, you know how to, if she ever having a bad day, you know how to cheer her, you know how to do all that, you know how to bring it all to the table. When you really know how to do everything for that specific woman, she don't give a fuck. I promise you she not gonna give a fuck. But that all comes with understanding. You gotta understand women. Me personally, you don't need to have us. And you understand women, you realize that a lot of women will want to have sex. They'll want to have sex with you more than you do them on a more consistent basis off of you understanding women. I promise you.
harms
genders
men.
are harmed.
Some of them say it doesn't harm men.
Yeah, both of them
There's
are
no
harmed.
study that says it helps them in relationships. Do you know what I mean?
Of course not, and they would never run a study like that because it would be considered unethical, right? And we know that when they run these studies, they have to be politically correct. They got to get funding. They have to do it in a certain way to get the blessing. But what I will say is,
Thank you again. I know we just talked through a lot, so why don't you give the rest of the team a quick call and just catch them up to speed? Phone call?
It be nerds talking to nerds. The law's talking to the lost. They don't be having nobody in the room that really can go bag a bunch of bitches. It be the lost following the lost. And bagging them is one thing. Like, fucking them is one thing. But bagging women, like having like a team, that's a whole nother game. That's a whole nother game. Because you can fuck a bunch of women. I promise you, bro. You go to a club, they ready. You meet a woman in Walmart, every once in a while, you going to meet a slut in Walmart. You go to the park, every once in a while, you going to run into a slut. You go anywhere, you going to run into some sluts. You go into some fucking sluts. But to have women on your team, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole nother ball game, bro.
with the whole body sleeping with women or whatever it may be, it's not necessarily to understand women better. It's to understand the women that you don't want to necessarily be with. And I think that's half the game, because what ends up happening, right, and remember, I mean, you're in the UK, so you know this too. I mean, the UK is going through this as well. We live in a very hypersexualized world where women are more promiscuous than ever before. So my thing is, right, I look at it like, and I was just having a discussion with Andrew. He's a devout Orthodox Christian, and he saw my perspective on this too. If you're gonna try to meet a woman in the West where they are promiscuous, they don't necessarily adhere to gender roles when it doesn't benefit them. They want a man that makes money, but they don't want to necessarily submit, etc. I think it's very important for you as a man to identify these women early on and not bring them into your life, because the beauty of religion, right, whether it's Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, is that it basically had an institution of shame, and it had what I call training wheels to keep women honest with their man. It pretty much shamed them for not doing things that they were supposed to do. But these training wheels are effectively gone. We live in a secular world now. And unless you're a very religious man and you're meeting a very religious woman, it's going to be very difficult for you to find a woman that's virtuous. So my thing is, I think and the other reason why I think this is so important is because when you get married, right? Luckily, in Islam, you can just go to a mosque, go to an imam, he'll marry you, boom, done. You don't got to worry about the state being involved. But most people don't get married that way. They get married through the state. And with the way the family courts are set up, with the way divorce is set up, with the way it's basically an entire industry against men, I look at it like, if you're going to go ahead and you want to have a family one day, which is the nuclear family, which is the backbone of society, and you want to get married, you are taking on a tremendous amount of risk, and I don't want you to go in blind. However, if you're getting married and the state isn't involved and there's no severe consequences to you financially, then sure, go ahead and be less sexually experienced and meet a woman, because at least you're not going to be severely punished for it. But my thing is, the reason why I even gave that idea, like, hey, get with more women so that you understand them, is because I just don't want men to deal with the horrors of the family court. Now, is it the best solution? Probably not, but I think it's a pragmatic one given the world that we're in now.
I think if you aim to understand women, you'll understand the ones that's here for a good time and the ones that's here for a long time. If you just really listen to them, bro, just listen to them. I promise you. Some women that tell you and test them too. Test them. You gotta test them. Like, you gotta listen to what they saying, because you sometimes you can just listen. You can hear a lie. You can hear a lie if you really listening. You can hear somebody lying. 1, 2, you can see what add up to the actual person, and if it really add up to what they saying overall. Because at the end of the day, if you listen to me and you look at what I'm doing, you look at what I'm saying, you can put the piece together. You can see whether or not I'm telling the truth if you actually sit down and you listen. Versus you having somebody else, they lying, like these motherfuckers. I need to start actually recording some of my phone calls and shit. I don't really like doing that shit. I'm a private nigga. I don't like people in my business. But I'm gonna have to do it like on a kind of spectrum. But if you sit me down in front of a woman, I'm going to break her down by having a regular conversation with her. Right? That's the difference between somebody who actually understands women and somebody who don't. All right, because if a motherfucker lying, you know the woman is for you. If she not lying, and she being truthful, now all women lie. She gonna lie about something. She might lie about some stupid shit that's unnecessary that she ain't even gotta lie about. She gonna lie about something. Women lie. Women lie. It's alright. It is what it is. I don't make the rules to the game. Women lie. Alright. But you can match out which women is really meant for a relationship by just really handing out different things. I'm gonna make a video off that. I ain't trying to make.
Yeah.
So what? No, here's the thing. I just want to know what the evidence is of, for example, having intercourse with multiple women. What benefit? Like, let's say 50 or 30. What benefit are you alleging that it has on the man?
No,
what benefit are you alleging?
So that's a fair question. Every man has different competence, right? So like one guy might be able to hook up with 10 girls and be like, okay, you know what, I get it. Like I don't, you know, it is what it is. But another guy, you know, might be incompetent, might be an idiot. Everyone's, you know, level of adaptation is different. So I'm not saying, oh, have a hard 50 and don't get married. It's like, no, if you find a girl that's worthy, that's fine. And I would argue that like our podcast is like, we're able to kind of fast line it where, you know, remember this information hasn't been out for very long. So people are kind of learning now through us talking about it on our platform, etc. So they might not necessarily have to even hit 50 because they're learning from our mistakes. You know, the Chinese saying,
what if they do get 50? What's the benefit of that? What do they get from that?
$16,000 for camera gear? I'm never going to be able to afford all this gear.
Well, hopefully, depending on the individual, they are able to identify women that are worthy versus ones that aren't.
In a sexual capacity?
Well, I'm also assuming that this person would be seeing this woman. If they're just looking to have sex, then obviously it's gonna be a waste. But I'm talking about, you know, you're obviously courting this woman, you're hanging out with this woman, etc. You're seeing her.
Because look, my friend had your book. I was trying to look for it myself. It's called.
Oh, nice.
I was trying to find something. And actually, I was flicking through it right before I spoke to you, and I like the like, you know, the statistics you have on here. Mm-hmm. One of them that you had on here was, for example, that a man will spend 30 hours or something like this, doing 30 hours doing speed dating online in order to just get one date, 1.46 date in the year or something like that. Now, what I'm saying is that to get 50 women, look, you know it's a numbers game, and I know it's a numbers game. Yeah. The feasibility, the amount of man hours that you're going to need to put in to have intercourse with 50 women that are not prostitutes, according to your statistics that you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
The amount of man hours, we're talking about, like if he's going to use Tinder or some kind of an app, and according to these stats, he's going to need to do a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
And the question of benefit here is an important one. Obviously, from a religious standpoint, Muslims, Christians, and Jews all agree that sex shouldn't even be done outside of marriage. Now, it is still possible to marry 50 women. I mean, I'm not saying you cannot marry and divorce 50 women. It's a possibility. But I'm not necessarily saying that one should do that. Of course, we wouldn't agree that one should do that. The point I'm trying to get at is that there isn't actually any good evidence that having intercourse with that many women would give you a kind of benefit in the relationship. In fact, you could argue for the opposite, because if you get sex very easily, going back to the idea of virtue, then you can be less restrained in your sexual appetites, and this is something that in virtue ethics is referred to as temperance. So if you're less restrained, you don't have as much restraint. For example, you don't have self-control, and if you don't have willpower and self-control in one area, you're less likely to have it in other areas. And I've read that in a book called Willpower, funny enough, by Roy Baumeister. A very fantastic book. I recommend it. But he mentioned the point that if you have willpower in one area, for example, he mentioned fasting, religious fasting as an example, Roy Baumeister. If you have willpower and discipline in one area, it's transferable to other areas. The idea of getting 50 women having sex...
I can see that. On a universal perspective, I can really see that. I ain't gonna cap.
Sex with them, which is difficult anyway, according to these stats, because just because you're dating a woman, it doesn't mean you're gonna have sex with her. As you know, like for the average person, you guys might not be the average person, because you know, from a status perspective, you guys have got, you know, big channel, good money coming in. The guy's wearing a nice Rolex red face. I like it, fresh, and you're wearing a nice watch as well.
It's chocolate.
You guys are well put together.
Thank you, bro.
So not everyone is fresh, and not everyone's Myron Gaines.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to be easy to get sex like that. So for them to put 30 hours to 50 hours to get a date, and then after that to get like 100 of those, maybe 30, I don't know what the numbers would be, a conversion rate. 5 dates to 1 woman having sex, maybe? I don't know. Is that
also,
Myron,
Muhammad,
you know more about this than I do?
keep in mind, right? Because people tend to criticize my, my idea that you should have sex with 50 women, but there's a bunch of other things I tell guys to have in place as well. They should make a certain amount of money, 35 years old, be in shape. They need to have a bunch of things in line so that they can be in a position. And the reason why I say this, so this is what it is. Make 6 figures a year or more, have 6 months or a year of savings, be in shape, 50 women, and then be 35 years old. The reason why I say have these 5 things in place is because most women, right, will look at you as a higher status, more attractive male, which will inevitably put her in her feminine, put you in your masculine, so the relationship ends up actually working, because we all know what happens when you deal with a rambunctious woman. Now, does that mean that if the person reaches 10 bodies, 20 bodies, 30, 40, and he has other things in place, oh, no, sorry, baby, I can't commit to you because I need to hit 50. No. And like I said before, with our podcast, we might be able to curb it where they don't need to necessarily hit that number. But I'm speaking from a general perspective for most people. And then also with as far as the book goes, with the dating stuff, this is why I'm such a big proponent of not relying on online dating. I tell people, meet girls through your friends, meet girls when you're out, meet them out in real life, use Instagram. We have multiple different ways that you need to go ahead and source women. Now, with that said, of course, if you're religious, then this might not necessarily apply to you because you're going against your religious beliefs. But my thing is this: if you're a religious guy, right, and you can't do this, that's totally fine. The only thing I ask is I want them to make sure that they don't get married with the state. You don't need to hit this body count number if you're getting married and it's just religious strictly and there isn't a state involved.
I see. Look, a lot of what you said there.
All right, let me go ahead and say what I got to say. Now, the body count thing, listen, y'all, listen. Like I said, you can say whatever you got to say to get a woman to have sex. That's not the end goal. Motherfuckers that's watching this should not be your end goal. Your end goal should not be to just have sex. If your end goal to just have sex, you already, bro, I ain't lying, you just horny, bro. You just horny, bro. You know what I'm saying? Listen. The reason why I would say you need to have sex with more than a good number of women. Number one, you need experience as a man, bro. You need experience. If you don't have experience, you don't have understanding, you gonna get fucked over. Or you gonna make a lousy fucking decision. So, yes, this is why I always say. I know I say this. I know some of y'all gonna take this the wrong way, but hoes are actually beneficial. I'm be 100% honest with you. They beneficial because this is really all most of y'all want is hoes, cause y'all want to have sex. Y'all just don't want to have a sex with a woman that y'all don't think y'all can really please. That's most of y'all niggas. That's most of y'all niggas' problem. Alright, now. With that being the case, and with that being truthful, I'm not saying it's every case, but with that being the case, most of y'all niggas weird, and y'all can't have that many bodies. Let me give y'all some hope. You shouldn't be like, I need to be at a certain age, I need to have a certain amount of money, I need to be da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because you're initially telling yourself, and you telling the woman that you're talking to, you can't acquire that shit. If you aim to have 6 figures in your life, you're gonna have 6 figures eventually. Alright? If you gonna stay alive, you're gonna be 35. If you aim to have a stable home, you're gonna have a stable home. If you aim to have a stable income, you're gonna have a stable income. You're gonna have all these things. But for you guys who don't have it, and y'all trying to work your ass off to get these things that he talking about, this is where you miss out on the chance to really get the woman that's really gonna stick with you through that shit. Or for guys who aren't religious, who want to have multiple women, this is the point when you are missing out to have multiple women that will stick with you while you don't have nothing. It's like y'all forget that. There are women who will fuck with you just for you being you. But when you focus on this kind of shit he talking about, that's when you miss the fucking point. because that's when you 35 years old and you really didn't live the lifestyle of fucking probably, of not fucking at all, fucking with hoes. And then you get to the point where you got money and you don't understand women and you get fucked over. Anyway, it don't matter. The experience is what matters. You have to have some type of experience, some type of understanding. If you religious and your whole life is strict principle, you are a living experience. You are a living experience because you living off somebody else's experience. But if you motherfucker want to have your own experience, you want to do things your way, then you gonna have to, number one, you have to have some type of principles, but you gotta look at things from a perspective of trying to really gain the experience so you can understand what you want, to get a better understanding of what you want in the long run. Sometimes you gotta go through what you think you want to know if you really want it. Like some people might, for instance, me, when I was growing up, I used to always be like, I want a woman that's very analytical, who really pays attention and da da da. I got a woman who like to pay attention. She like to break shit down. She like to listen and just focus. And when it came down to a relationship, points of relationship where I realized, damn, this bitch is literally like nothing. This bitch is empty. She has no soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the perspective where I thought I wanted something and I didn't want it. So sometimes it's really the experience where you get to know what you actually want. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different.
A lot of what you said there is very reasonable. I don't think it's wrong for a man to aspire to make a certain money, like a certain amount of money. I don't think it's wrong for them to put themselves in the. I think it's actually quite praiseworthy, frankly. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. My only issue is that the reason why I mentioned the 50 body count thing is because this is my analysis, bro, and you can tell me what you think. We're living in a time historians refer to as Pax Americana. Yeah, it's a time where America is a superpower, and as a result, Western countries have not had to have wars where they themselves are in danger in the ways that they had in the past. Okay, it's more like incursions or invasions or whatever it may be. As a result, we in the West are living in a state of relative ease and comfort. Arthur Schopenhauer, a famous philosopher, he said that human beings or mankind vacillates between extreme boredom and extreme fear. Okay, I think now we're living in an age of extreme boredom because we're not fearing that someone's going to kill us. Yeah, in a war context. As a result, we are missing what most cultures in the past referred to as rites of passage for men. This is where the masculinity crisis comes in, because before a man could prove that he is a man by stepping on the battlefield. Now that kind of opportunity is no longer afforded to us on the same kind of level. And as a result, we have invented rites of passage for men so that they can feel like they have gone through a certain process and now they're men. And what I see with the Red Pill movement is that they've invented arbitrary and ad hoc rites of passage, which actually feed more into hedonistic liberal thinking.
Shopify helps you sell at every stage of your business. Like that ready
than anything else, which there's scanty to no evidence that will improve them as an individual, virtuously or otherwise, the like of which we've just mentioned, the 50 body count thing, which I know comes from The Rational Male, because that was the first place I read it. I don't know if you got it from there as well.
He didn't necessarily give a hard number. He just calls it plate theory.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying to you is, in the time it would take you to find non-prostitutes that are 50 in number that you can have sex with in the West, you can spend making money for yourself. You can spend working on yourself. You can spend improving your bravery, improving your proficiency, your strength. Because the thing is, I feel like there's an underlying assumption with the Red Pill movement, yeah? And the assumption almost is that we should live our lives to make ourselves most marketable for women. And I feel like that
that's not true, irony. Though. That's not true. That's not what we... That's no.
I ain't gonna lie. Listen to everything that he said before this. 35, money, status, be in a position so a woman can automatically act into her femininity. This is what he said. This is what I be trying to tell y'all. Y'all don't really listen to what the fuck this nigga be saying. He be fucking lying. He be lying. This nigga is a liar. And Fresh be, every time his nigga starts, Fresh be head be down. Nigga be lying, bro. Lying. Like, it literally, Bro, that's why this why I say I'm really gonna attack the red pill community, cause niggas in the red pill community be lying, bro. When nigga actually testing, this is why I say niggas like this, you can't expect him to take some shit. He and him, he just straight honest took over his whole perception, took over his whole statement previously. That's what I'm saying. Like, not every guy can really take some shit. This is why I'm telling y'all, bro. This is what's wrong with society. Like, y'all niggas don't really know how to take shit. Like y'all think, oh yeah, well I listen to him, I'm good. Like, nah, nigga, you gotta go experience that shit. You don't even understand what he talking about because you ain't never really experienced it. You think you understand it, but there's so many details where I understand it because I went through it, or sometimes I may not been through it. I'm type of motherfucker, if I ain't go through it, I'll try to experience it. You know what I'm saying? I'll try to learn more. I ask hella questions. Y'all niggas don't ask no questions, bro. Y'all don't want no experience. Y'all want to seem like y'all got the experience. That's the problem. And if you sit right there and listen to what he's saying, and what's actually coming about, you gotta be 35, da 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 da. He's saying don't do any of that until you got that. Don't fuck with one. Don't worry about da da da. Till you got this women. That's what's gonna go into most of y'all heads. Let's just be real. Because this is what he's saying. This is what a woman needs to be feminine. So that's in y'all head. If people really listen, for the people who really listen to him and they really believe in what he's saying. Basically, when you 35, got the money, you got all that, right? You still don't have the experience. You still don't have the understanding. So initially, you gonna get fucked over. Versus what he's saying, you focus on your bravery, you focus on yourself, you focus on your knowledge, you focus on working on yourself, on getting money, you focus on all that in yourself. You understand women. You focus on whatever your avenue is, it's more likely for you to get everything. Because you are virtuous. You see what I'm saying? Even what he's saying, I can say, okay, that's some shit right there. He's saying some shit. Motherfucker be like, man, go outside, go wild out, go fuck all the hoes, go have excitement. I'll be like, you know what? I understand what he's saying. Go make all the mistakes, get the experience. Both initially, you getting the experience. But what they saying is a blatant, flat out fucking bullshit lie. It's a fake dream that y'all not getting. Like, that's what I'm about. That's what I'm about. Because if you go get the experience, you're going to fuck up a lot. You're going to go through a lot of pain. But your understanding is going to be unbreakable because you experienced the shit. You know what you're not going to do. If you motherfucker disciplined and you focusing on yourself and you breaking shit down for yourself, then you going to have an understanding where you give yourself a blueprint. You already built your discipline up. You already built your knowledge up. You already built your understanding up, your self-worth up. You already going to go in the direction of what you map out for yourself because you're going to follow it. Two things that's going to lead you into a path of masculinity versus what they doing. It's so feminine. It's so fucking feminine.
So I've always said, you gotta, and I talk about that in the book too, is I want the guy to be the best version of himself, and then the women are a byproduct of it. And like, I'm very explicit about that in the book, that like, hey, I don't want guys running around chasing women, spending a bunch of time and money and resources on women that don't necessarily want them, because what'll end up happening is what you mentioned before. He'll be looked at as a utility. So I want the guy.
You know how you really get people to believe in what you're saying, bro? And I want you, not like, clip this, send it to him. Be what you talking about. I understand you married and everything, but next time you go on a date, mouthpiece up. Get at her. Stop talking about what women should be bringing to the table and start talking more so about your experiences and hunting them. And actually getting to it. Breaking down their mind frame of why they not getting what they want out of life, what it is. Keep in mind, you're a man. For the viewers that's watching this, you're a man. You have the right to you have the right to get whatever you want out of life. Don't let nobody tell you any different. You are a fucking man. You get what you want out of life. Now I'm saying needs over wants, sure. But you get what you want out of life. This is your life. That's where people got it fucked up. But the whole point I'm trying to get y'all to realize is that what they're saying is bullshit. Like, they don't believe in it, because sit right here and really think about the type of character that they're talking about. Somebody who does not worry about women, somebody who don't worry about none of that shit. I don't know all of them. I just go off of what they said on the dates. Myron said he want hoes. If he was playing, and he just lied like that, Fresh, I just told her a dream, man. You a friendly nigga. You are a friendly nigga. You asking questions and you do not reveal who you are while talking to a woman. This goes against everything. This is why you should never even really correlate the two on some shit. Like, you really should separate the two, because working on yourself, cool. Be fresh and fit, but don't talk about dating. Don't talk about dating. Y'all would have been doing so good if y'all just never talked about dating. But y'all do. Because y'all do, certain motherfuckers gonna look at y'all like y'all clowns. I'm gonna look at y'all like y'all fucking clowns. The OGs that I learned from, they gonna look at y'all like y'all clowns. The P's that I watch, fucking Sharp, fucking all the P's, fucking Mishi, fucking Prom, fucking Taekwondo, fucking Deshae Frost, all these niggas gonna look at these niggas like clowns. And these niggas that we know in the game. Tell me, where are people not getting the connection of, like, these are real niggas, these are niggas that's just pretending. That's how y'all know this is the problem. There's so many niggas pretending. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying?
To develop these characteristics, of obviously sticking to his word, having these masculine traits, being a leader, being dominant, being assertive, going out there and conquering the world and becoming successful, becoming a catch, then the women are a byproduct. Because whenever guys go ahead and chase women...
Becoming a catch. Nigga, you are a catch. You just don't know it. You are a catch. You just don't know you a catch. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. Listen to what the fuck they really be... Listen to what they be saying, bro. Listen to what they be saying. It don't ever add up, nigga. It don't ever add up. And y'all be believing this shit. I be like, y'all nigga really some clowns. Like,
a lot of problems arise. So I tell guys, focus on yourself first, and then the pursuit of women could come after. That's why I said be at least 35 years old. So
okay, it's good that you cleared that up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So now my question is, if they're focusing on themselves,
yes,
why are they doing it? Are they doing it? Is there a purpose in life, which is an objective purpose in life?
Don't do that. Set them up. Leave them in. Don't give them no fucking multiple choice answer, nigga. Just leave them there. Hey, what's the purpose of doing it? Leave it there. Let them feel like, you give them an answer.
Towards, or they're just doing it for another reason? So what's the reason that they're doing all these things?
That's a fantastic question. So, right.
He put him in perfect position to answer. He put him in perfect position to answer the question right, man. Fuck.
A gun, right? You can either choose to use it as a tool to hunt, to eat, or you can use it to commit crimes, right? But I'm giving you the tool, and then it's up to you how you want to use it. That's exactly what this knowledge is. Some guys are going to use it to find their wife, be able to, filter out the women that are worthy versus the women that aren't worthy, and they're able to use this skill set to their advantage for building a nuclear family. Other guys are going to use it for more hedonistic things that you disagree with, which I see your perspective on that. But my thing is, I want to at least equip them with the tools so that they can decide what they want to do with their life. Because my fear is I don't want them to get in a situation where the woman is dictating everything because the guy's aloof and not aware of what's going on in the.
And I think that aspect of it is probably where you excel the best and most, because that aspect of it appeals to...
He appeals to those type of niggas. But the thing is this. I think you are one of those type of niggas. I don't think that you really in the game like that for real, bro. I think that you just a lame nigga. Your wife running you. Or you just say, you say shit to basically make her always gonna make her, like you. And keep her around. Like, she don't fuck with you for you. Not for real. She fuck with you for what you got. You know what I'm saying? Fresh, I think you a friendly nigga. You probably got some women that you fuck with on the low. I ain't saying you don't. But I think for the majority of women that's on your phone, they friends. They ain't really fucking you. They ain't really trying to, they just your friends. They just connections. This is what I'm saying, like from the perspective of what y'all say. It ain't about it's a thing. I know sometimes I might come across like I'm nitpicking on what they saying, but it's not that. It's really what they overall big picture is. The pieces never add together. They never add together. And y'all niggas believe this shit. The society does not work. It works like this for the majority of people. But the majority of people, y'all not really giving them the real solution to it. For instance, y'all always be like, man, the Chad and high value men get all the women. Yes. Well, so the thing is this though. Why does the nigga that's in the same position as you get all the bitches, but you not? You see what I'm saying? Like for the regular guys, that's like earning 20 to 80K a year. You know, the actual poor to the below middle class guys that's not getting no women. You ever wonder why does the guy that's earning 20 to 80K the same amount as you is getting more pussy than you, getting more bitches than you? You ever sit right there and ask that? You see, that's what I mean. That's because one person has game and one person don't. Y'all show Fresh and Fit don't push that. They push work hard. They don't push y'all niggas just soft. They don't push y'all niggas don't know how to talk to women. They don't push y'all don't know women. They push have sex with women. That's the end result. Nigga, how do you get the end result? What's the skills? How you get the skills? What do I need to work on? Give me something practical so I can get better at the skills that I need to get the end goal. No, y'all don't do that. Y'all say I need to get the end goal more. It's stupid. It's stupid.
Something deep within every single man, which is the ambitious drive to become better. And so long as these things are very important that we're clarifying that we're not doing this because of any woman. And like, I'm not sure if you've come across these archetypes, the alpha male, the sigma male, and the beta male archetypes. You've seen them online,
of course,
and the differences between them. You see the sigma male archetype usually has what you're talking about. He doesn't really care about what the woman is doing or saying or thinking.
For sure.
Whereas the alpha male, it's more he is a status figure, and as a result the women are coming towards him and so on. So what I'm trying to advocate is more in line with that sigma male archetype rather than the alpha male or beta male archetype.
So I will say
what I wanted to add as well is that
please.
The thing with Red Pill, bro, is there's a few elusive but important things in the manual of Red Pill which I think you need to be aware of. So for example, if you look at Rollo Tomasi's book, he mentions that this is not an ideology, but this is a praxology. I don't know if you've come across this terminology, yeah?
Yeah.
And then he proceeds in the end of his book to writing down what he talks about as 8 laws, or I think 12 iron laws.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I know they're suggestive. They're not prescriptive from one angle. They're not obligatory. You don't have to do them. The 50 rule, the vasectomy that he talks about, all those kind of things, which are arbitrary in my opinion, and there's scanty evidence for their benefit, like I've said before, right? Mm-hmm. But the vasectomy, the lack of family, don't get married, these kinds of things that he talks about, don't get married, and the iron laws and how many people you have to have sex with and all that kind of thing. But
he does advocate for marriage. He just doesn't advocate with how we do it today, with the state being involved. That's what Sorry.
And I totally sympathize with that viewpoint, especially with the woman taking half of your wealth. We would consider that to be a grand injustice anyway. Yeah. And a lot of the things about how a woman can withhold the children, and that's where I agree with Red Pill. That's totally where I agree with them. I think that's where the strongest arguments lie.
Yeah.
However, I'm going back to the point that there's something quite.
I gotta realize how marketable the idea of marriage is for women versus men. Like, most women get married to guys that have more money. They want to get married to guys that have more than them, or they got something going on a little bit more than them. That's just how it usually goes. Right? And most men, our value goes higher the older we get, because let's just be honest, we become more disciplined, we become more mature, we just become so much better when the older we get. It's just crazy. Like, our knowledge. We not gonna make the same. It's like our experience. We get better through experience. So, like, our value goes high as fuck when it comes down to making money and shit like that, or like because we just automatically know what works and what don't. Women, they can make the same mistakes till they fucking die. Like, they can make the same old mistakes till they fucking die. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. Like, especially if they're in a marriage and they got a motherfucker that's holding it down. They gonna make a lot of mistakes. Like, because they just okay with it. They don't see no big deal out of it. So, for a woman to be able to take half of your shit, like, no matter what, she got half your shit regardless, and she can watch you grind. Like, it's like, damn, bro. That's one thing. Two, she can withhold the kids, bro. Like, that's the part that hit me the most. The money is like, all right, you gonna take half my shit. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna get it back. But my kids, bro. Brian, I get a little loony, bro. I ain't lying. I'd be like, bitch, I'll kill your brother before y'all let you take my kid.
Quite elusive about this situation because when something becomes ideological, when something
y'all don't know, bitch. Stop playing.
Ideological. It becomes ideological when it becomes what you call teleological. When it becomes prescriptive to some extent.
I think in my head, or my nephews, my little cousins, like I care about them more than I do anybody else. Like the little niggas, like the little kid, like the one that's like 15 years younger than me. I be loving them niggas the most. And I'm already knowing I have my kids. Right? Ain't nobody gonna play with my kids, dog.
And something can become prescriptive to some extent, even if someone's making suggestions and giving advice. I feel like Rollo Tomasi doesn't understand this point because I saw his discussion with you and Sneeko and Destiny. And although I don't like the latter person I just mentioned, Destiny there, I don't like him. I feel like he's a weasel of a man. I don't think he's even a man. I actually don't think he's a man, let alone a high value man. He's not even a man.
Thank you again. I know we just talked through a lot, so why don't you give the rest of the team a quick call and just catch them up to speed? Phone call?
Him, Ben Shapiro, and all these other people that were mentioned in that discussion, they're not even men. They don't even meet the threshold of men. But putting that to the side, what I'm saying is that the red pill ideology is prescriptive and therefore it meets the threshold of ideological. And so the Quran asks a question. Do they have partners with God that have legislated that which he has not permitted? When someone tells me to do something or not to do something, the question is from what greater authority you're coming with this information. And people like Rollo Tomasi, with all due respect to him, because he is a clever guy and he's respectable and I've seen his book and some of the stuff I totally agree with him on it. But what authority do you have to give me iron laws or any kind of laws? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
if you want,
I showed a picture of him,
you guys,
some of the guys, some of the MMA fighters, I don't mention who they are, him with his hat and his ponytail and this kind of thing. And they looked at it and they said, this is a guy who's written a book, tell me what you think. The first thing they said to is, this is not the guy that's going to tell me how to be a man.
Well,
with all due respect to him.
No. I mean, if you want, I can absolutely facilitate you guys having a discussion. I think it'd be a great discussion. But, I can't really speak to his views. I mean, me and him agree on a lot of things. I don't have the 9 iron rules like he does. But I'd be happy to, facilitate that discussion if you want to talk about that.
I mean, debate-wise, it'd be great.
I'm open to speak to anybody. But the point I'm making to you is, going back to the point, like we, in the West, we have these rites of passage that we think we have to go through in order to be men. But the truth is, the rites of passage that you have to go through in order to be men is increasing and bettering all those virtues which are seen by cross-culturally, cross-religions, Christians, Muslims, Jews, everyone can agree, all those things are good things. Like, for example, being brave, temperance, for example, having magnanimity, for example, having forgiveness, for example, being loving, for example, not being foolhardy, for example, not being cowardly, for example, and so on and so forth. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So if someone works on those things, increases their knowledge, and from our perspective as Muslims, has faith, that's when they attain a higher value man status. That's what it is. So the high value man for us is the virtuous man. If the person cannot reach, if it's a coward, it doesn't matter how much money he is. I don't care if Bezos or Musk. If Musk one day is walking in the street, Elon Musk, and he's with his kid, or he's with his wife, and someone slaps his wife or shouts at his wife or spits on his wife, and he cannot intervene and defend in a proper manner, or at least tries to defend her, I don't care how much money he's got, how many platforms he owns, how many companies he's got. He doesn't even meet the threshold of man anymore. He's not even a man anymore, let alone high value man. It doesn't matter how much money you've got.
Well,
that's on an intrinsic level.
Okay.
Yes, he's always going to have women that are going to want him, but they're not going to want him for him. They're going to want him for what he has. He is a walking ATM machine. He would be. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So
yeah,
that's where I feel like the emphasis should be also.
So here's the thing. So and I don't blame you for this. A lot of people don't know this stuff, but we do daytime shows, right? Similar to this one that we're doing right now, where obviously you're a special guest, so we're not doing it today. But on Mondays, we talk about how to earn money, right? And obviously becoming successful, earning money, you have to have certain characteristics of being disciplined, exercising temperance, being dedicated, etc., and putting.
None of this has anything to do with social standing. None of that has to do with actual social standing, bro. That's where the fucking value really comes from, bro. Like, it has to really be in you across the fucking board. For something to be in you socially, everybody has to recognize it. Now, I ain't saying they ain't got levels to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they definitely got levels to it. But to us, it's a certain level that you get past where you're not a fucking clown, where you're not a square, where you're not gullible, where you're not simple-minded. It's a certain level that you get past where you ain't going back there. Because you just know, like, ain't nothing back there. You got to go through experiences to get to that point. Like,
off hedonism a lot of the times to become successful. On Wednesdays, we talk about how to properly date and vet women. And then on Fridays, we answer questions. We tell guys that they need to get in shape, etc. So unfortunately, right, and this is kind of one of the things, me being very open here about our podcast, our daytime shows don't.
How you going to vet women when a woman not even interested in you? How you going to vet a woman when you're not even fucking attractive? Like, y'all niggas skip past all the shit that's get you to the point to get to you. It's like you just assume that you're just gonna get to this point. Like, you not. You got to go through a phase of getting to know each other. And if she get past that phase, number one, for her to get past that phase, for you to test her, for you to know what's going on with her, for you to do all that, you got to have certain things in place, values, virtues, standards, things of that nature in place to see if she would meet them. Two, you gotta see if you gotta see if she the type of woman to be willing to actually readjust herself if she don't meet the standards for you. Because if she's submissive to you like that, then it's a whole different playing field. You see what I'm saying? But the whole game is like, y'all don't play the whole game. It's like y'all expect niggas to get to the end goal. It's not that simple, bro. It's not that simple, bro. That's why niggas be fucked up.
Get as much views and clips and virality because
I see your point.
You see what I'm saying? Like, no one clips when I yell at men and tell them to stop being pussies. No one clips when I tell them to, honor your guys near you and have a good circle of men and be good to those men. They never clip that stuff because no one, that's not exciting. They want to see us dunk on random bimbos on after hours, and that's where people go.
That's
go
the
viral.
issue, bro.
But they never get to see the other side where we talk about. I've been very adamant about loyalty. I mean, one of the biggest criticisms I get is people say, "Oh, you're loyal to a fault. You support people all the time." Like they.
Let me tell you something, bro. It's that, and it's when you actually get on a date. Your boy fresh don't flirt, you don't flirt, you don't know how to get out of, you not really taking the conversation in a positive route, you debating with her. He get on the show, he friendly with her, basically talking about what she want, when basically she lying. So both of y'all, you got a fraud saying that you don't want to fuck her, it's obviously you want to fuck her. Two, she lying to you, you know what I'm saying, and you going with it, you think she lying, you not. It's all these things where it's like something not adding up. That's where y'all become questionable. It's easy for him to put on a face and be like, because honestly, Nigga using y'all platform. He getting the benefit out of using y'all. I would use y'all. Honestly. But I would give y'all real game. Same way how he gave y'all real game. He gonna give you, like, that's, to me, that's loyalty. That's loyalty. Friends are supposed to use each other in some way. We supposed to be using each other. But it's a thin line between levels of loyalty, bro. It's levels to loyalty. There's the level this motherfucker ain't shit, and you gonna keep him at a distance, use him for what you get out of him. Now another level where it's like, all right, bro, he's somewhat like he a real friend. They got that level where he like a real brother, sister, whatever the case may be. And you got that real life, like, this is my lifetime till I die, ride or die to the very end status. Each level, my nigga. That's how you supposed to go at people. But you still don't mean that we ain't supposed to use each other. That's in the Bible, nigga. You supposed to use the people around you. That's how society's supposed to work. You're supposed to use the people around you. But that's not loyalty though. You see what I'm saying? Like it's a surface level loyalty. Surface level.
They gave me so much criticism for standing by Andrew when he was going through that bullshit with the thing. But to me, it's second nature, because that's just a masculine trait where if you're my friend, I don't give a fuck what anyone says about you. I know that you're innocent, and I'm going to defend you regardless of whether it's popular or not. So, but obviously, these things that we talk about never get highlighted, unfortunately. What gets highlighted is us dunking on bimbos, and they assume that that's all we talk about. But we do really focus on trying to get guys to self-improve and have these virtuous traits that you're talking about. Not being a coward, sticking to your word, not being a backbiter, standing by your friends when they need you. Because that is something that I agree with you that is lost in the West in general. It's something that's lost in Gen Z especially, where for them, it's all about making content and going viral. And, there's no honor almost in today's day and age,
That's
right?
it, yeah.
So I agree with you on that. It's just that, unfortunately, that doesn't get pushed in the algorithm as much. They always clip our other stuff. Our more degenerative content gets clipped, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that is the truth. That is the truth. I can see what you're saying.
Sorry, Fresh, you were trying to say something, right?
Nah, I get it, because he didn't understand what we do outside of the dating show.
I mean, and I don't knock them. Like,
we're coming from a secular standpoint, of course. It's not going to be religious.
Yeah,
it's very secular, worldly. So our point of view, our actual steps are going to be more like, I want to say, no.
And actually, funny point. Like, people that are religious, I'll refer them to people that are more religious.
Yeah.
Like, I've had Muslim guys ask me, like, hey, how do I go about this? And I'm like, you know what, dude,
we're not
you're
the
religious.
Ones to tell you.
Go to someone like Muhammad Hijab. He'll advise you on how to deal with dating in the modern day marketplace based on your religion, because what I'm telling you is secular advice, and it's not going to.
Thank you again. I know we just talked through a lot, so why don't you give the rest of the team a quick call and just catch them up to speed? Phone call?
All right, y'all, man. That's all I really got for that,
faith.
man. That's all I really got for that, man. My end statement on all this, bro, is, listen, I'm not saying what they saying ain't right. You know what I'm saying? This is what I am saying, though, is that it's a reason why women are more masculine than men now. Now, y'all always be like, oh, man, women are delusional, and they always and this and that and this and that and this and that, right? But those same women are the women that, to y'all, are masculine women. Because they really have confidence in themselves, right? To have confidence in yourself is to understand that you're valuable the way you are right now. Which a lot of men aren't confident in themselves in that way in today's society. I'm not saying that you should not strive to get what you want in life, if that is status, if that is money, if that is, fulfilling the overall purpose. I'm not saying that you shouldn't live your life that way. But what I'm saying is that you should be able to understand what you can do right here, right now, without the money or with the money, to better yourself on a consistent basis. And a lot of that has to do with what he's saying, your principles, your virtues, the rules of the game, shit like that you live by, whatever rules you decide to apply by. I'm not a pimp, I'm not a gangster, I'm just a regular player ass nigga who in the game. That's all I am. I'm not about to boost myself up to be like I'm something I'm not. I'm not a pimp. I'm not a gangster. I'm not about that life at all. I'm just a regular nigga that got a little bit of game, that got a little bit of juice, that know how to talk that shit a little bit. And the reason why women fuck with me more than even though they got guys on their list, where they might, you know, a guy who has money. That's how most of them start. Like I fuck with guys who got money. They might come at me like that, and after having one conversation with me, they want to fuck with me. It ain't got really nothing to do with money. Now keep in mind, money definitely does attract, bro. I'm not saying that. It's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that you shouldn't be the type of motherfucker to have to completely rely on that. Because when you actually get the money, if you know how to do it without the money, when you actually get the money, nigga, I'm trying to tell you, like, they come in loads. When you when you actually got game, when you get the status, nigga, they come and they come. That's women, right? Now, at everyday life, I'm going to always say you should self-improve regardless of the women. I'm going to always say that. Some of the content I drop ain't really got nothing to do with women. They got a lot to do with just principles, the way you move in life. But in reality of it is that when you are that kind of man, you naturally going to have what women want. Like, when you are the motherfucker he talking about, you ain't got to really have the other shit. It make the other shit less. But when you got it, it's like, damn, you got that too? Versus, oh yeah, he got money, he got da-da-da. Oh yeah, I'm about to go fuck with him. It's like, nah, this nigga fly, he cool, he a player ass nigga, he know how, he exciting. I don't never know what he gonna do next. And he got money. See what I'm saying? It's a whole different perspective. It's a whole different side to this shit that these niggas don't really push because I honestly don't believe they know. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think they know, and I'm not trying to discredit them, but I really do. And I salute them in a lot of ways. Like they are black men. They got their own business. They got their own company. They got everything. You know, their own label. They got their own brand. They big. But the reality of it is that certain motherfuckers gonna always see through y'all. Like I'ma see through y'all. Like, and it's hard to hide that shit. You feel me? It's hard to hide it. It's hard to hide it. You can't really hide a nigga that lie. You can't hide a friendly, quiet nigga. You can't hide that shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't hide who really pulling the coats. If a woman look at this nigga and think that he's gay, it says to his face, you're gay, right? And then she says to his face, oh, you're like a therapist, This is what I look at. This nigga actually is the nigga. He's supposed to be the nigga. Fresh is supposed to be the nigga. But Myron is the nigga because he got his mouth closed. Because he's a friendly nigga. So it's just like, when you really look at everything, bro, like, read between the lines, bro. Like, I honestly, genuinely can tell that some niggas, they don't even fully watch my content, and they don't know. But the reality of it is like, y'all niggas don't even look, y'all don't see shit for y'allself, so it's like, I'm not going to expect y'all to see it in me. Type shit. But that's all I really got, man. If y'all like this type of content, leave a like down below and subscribe, because I drop content like this all the time, and I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all.